I remember being there at Todd AO. He loved to record there.
Sure.
And I remember him as being a very efficient, it was his sessions were just doing the work, and he was very meticulous. I remember he was a glutton for punishment, where we'd get these long 10-minute long cues with all these subtle time changes, rarely with click. And he'd hate to do intercuts, and he would just go back to the beginning and get the take through. And you can hear in the recordings how wonderful they are. I mean, just, and as you've probably observed in watching, particularly in a cue like this, and also the re-entry, the number of hits and cuts and things he was trying to catch with the shifts in music, and he just does a masterful job with that.
Yes. Now, when you're talking about a cue like this, you're referring to the launch sequence.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean exactly.
Right.
The launch. These long cues where he's intercutting between the control room and on the capsule and on the ground with the spectators, and keeping it all moving forward and tying it together musically.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is one of the masterful things about it.
It seems like he really liked doing these monster cues.
Yeah, he did.
I remember hearing him speak at one point, saying something along the lines of his approach to these 10-minute cues is almost such that it fades from consciousness. It's so ever present for such a period of time that it truly ends up functioning in the subconscious.
Yeah, and I wonder, in his thinking, whether he purposely chose to construct it into convince Ron Howard, let's do this as one long piece, or whether it was just sort of an obvious thing that needed to be done given the way the film was cut. But he did, the few films that I did with him, there were a few cues, but this movie in particular, I remember this, and then the re-entry are particularly long. Even in Jumanji, I mean, my memory's not really strong. I don't remember anything quite this long.
And my understanding, and I think you alluded to it before, is that with these long cues, and specifically with the launch sequence, it's recorded in one pass. We're not talking about punches. We're talking about, we messed up, got to go back to the start and do it all again.
Exactly. That was my point, is that he really, if there was ever a mistake, go back to the beginning, do it again. I don't remember punch-ins. Those were the last things he would go to.
How wonderful to be a James Horner and have that kind of freedom on the scoring stage.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.